I'm Erin Kavanaugh. I'm from Capital One, San Francisco, and I'm a software engineer. So what we're here today to talk about is a framework we're building that launches real-time microservices in a really configuration-driven way. So what's been really cool about it is we have been able to execute models really quickly in real time, but also, for instance, for a project we decided to do during just some experimentation time, we were able to get microservice created, running, get the business logic all plugged in and deployed within a matter of, I want to say we had 6 or 7 hours. So that was pretty cool to see. We've done all this work to abstract away a lot of the complexity, and to see that in action was really cool. For me, it's been I've been bouncing a lot between the reactive one and the data one. Streaming is really interesting to me, so diving more into Akka streams and the implementations of that. Some of the deployment technologies we've seen have been really interesting. And then on the data side, I'm not a data scientist, but I work with a lot of data scientists, so understanding the tooling, the best practices, those interesting things going on in that space was something that I kind of decided to get into here, and I've really enjoyed it, even though it's not really that applicable to what I do day to day. We've thought a lot about, in our framework, about creating a really good working model between our data scientists and engineers, and creating really high standards for how to run things in real time. So we thought a lot about latency, performance, and those kind of things, so that's what we'll be sharing. As I mentioned, the data science piece, the model deployment, model execution is something that is really interesting to me. So that's what I've been kind of diving into, and then looking at ways that we can start using streaming in new and interesting ways. And then the last thing, I think distributed comes up a lot here. It's something we've been looking at a lot, and I've heard some really interesting tooling around that. So I came to Scala relatively recently, and I've actually really enjoyed working with it. I like that it has both functional and object-oriented flexibility, so Scala is a pretty versatile language. I was previously learning Java, and I've actually really enjoyed how concise Scala is. I think the functional side is great. It makes it really easy to test. We've always made sure that all of our systems are stateless, which just helps us manage the complexity there. So I think I'm looking forward to continuing to use that, and it's been great here to see how other companies are using Scala and how much it's really taken off. Yeah, I think one of the things I really liked is all the talks are really technical. You get really deep into the code, and then I like how small it is. Usually at these conferences, they're incredibly overwhelming, and they really feel kind of networky and very sponsored, and this one doesn't as much. It really feels like people who are passionate about the work they do sharing that work.